so much room in this car. You could dance around if you wanted to. The headroom is enormous. You just feel like you've got a lot of space, you know, and you genuinely do have a lot of space. The dashboard, I mean, it's, as far as sport goes, this ain't bad at all. You know, it's pretty nice looking. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It doesn't really feel cheap and tacky like other cars. I was in an Aston Martin recently and it was full of plastic. The steering wheel was just like this one. There's nothing wrong with this car. It's a good looking car. You can take the seats out the back of these cars and you've basically got a van with electric windows and air conditioning. Now, this is the sort of vehicle that you'd use on a commercial basis for ferrying passengers around, or a family, domestic use, would use it for running the kids back and forth to school. You got more room in here than you can spring a cat in. I love these vehicles. Now, what do they drive like? Well, we'll come to that in a moment. Let's have a little look at the inside first of all. Dashboard, pretty box standard, but it's highly visible. There's only one thing I'll say about the dashboard though. It's so low down, you really feel like you're taking your eyes off the road to look at it. And the fact of the matter is you are. As you look down, I'd say you barely have any peripheral vision at all as to what's going on in the road. Now that could be an issue. The rear view mirror, plenty of vision. You've got a huge back window. The side mirrors, the left and the right wing mirrors, they are way too low. Same as the dashboard, I'm having to look right down to see what's going on. That's not a good thing. One, it involves movement, whereas your eyes should just be able to go straight down. And two, it restricts my peripheral vision of the road ahead when I'm looking into it. There's a lot of space here on this dashboard, and I don't see any reason why this couldn't have come up a bit more. Now this is a manual version. Gear change is lovely. There's no problems with this at all. It's a 6-gear version. This would quite easily blast down the motorway at 70 miles an hour with 4 or 5 passengers in. Now the general interior of the car is very nice. It's not over the top flashy, but it looks pretty comfortable. It looks pretty luxurious. It's got a nice trim. Even the wooden trim doesn't look that tacky. You've got plenty of room in this car for luggage. You could fill this car up and go across Europe camping, and you still have room for the dog and your bike on the back. Now the vision on this car is fantastic. I can see around me, I can see everywhere. There's even a quarter light up ahead on the dashboard by the A pillar. The B pillar is a little bit bulky, but I don't think it'll be a concern when looking to the left and the right. The car does feel like it's tipping a bit when we're going around corners, but at the end of the day we are in a vehicle which is pretty high up, so we've got to expect some kind of lean. After all, we are dealing against gravity. But the general cornering, I wouldn't say it was heavy at all, because the steering's nice and light, but what we are dealing with here is it feels like it's struggling to come out of the corners. Obviously this is not a car that you're going to be chucking around corners anyway, but I think if you're going to be in a position where you've got to suddenly swerve in this vehicle, you're going to have to know how it reacts. And if you give it a quick test now, you can see it is a little bit floaty, a little bit bouncy, but this responds better to rapid movement of the steering wheel than some saloons do. So heads up to Ford there for getting that right. These vehicles have been nicely designed. They've been nicely put together. They're here to be enjoyed when you're driving. They're comfortable. You've got room to relax. You've got room to read your paper if you wanted to. This is how a vehicle should be, as far as I'm concerned. You should be high up. You should feel like you're in a good seated position, and and you should have enough room to open up a laptop if you wanted to. What is the point of sitting in a car and being all squished up? You know, this feels like you're driving a van, yet you've actually got the bit in front as well, so it does feel as secure as a saloon car would feel. Now, performance wise, I'm pulling away down 4th gear, 40 miles an hour, and it's by no means rapid, but I'm at 70 miles an hour now, chucking it into 6th gear as I pull in onto a motorway, and the car is just floating along lovely. It does feel like you're high up. It does feel a bit precarious, I suppose, in that sense. But you know, you've got to expect that with a vehicle that's high up. This vehicle towers over a regular saloon. In fact, I'm going past a van now. I'll compare where I am seated to him. In fact, we're in the same position. I might as well be in a van, basically. That's how high up we are. The steering is very, very light. I'm pretty sure this is a front wheel drive. And with passengers in the back, this would be a lot better. Front wheel drive is not a favourite of mine, especially on days like this where it's chucking down with rain. This is the month of January and it hasn't stopped raining. Steering, I like the steering on this. It's actually very responsive. Now when you do make adjustments to the steering, it does feel like you're in a very long vehicle. It's almost like you're snaking along, and I don't think it would take much to actually lose control of this vehicle. So I bear that in mind if you were thinking of buying one of these. I wouldn't fancy driving too fast in a vehicle like this.